Haven't been playing chess for about a month and a half. I just started getting back into it, and I've lost several hundred points in my ELO rating. I'm trying to climb back up. Well, that's kind of misleading. My tactics used to be at like 1800 to 2000. I think I'm down to like 1400 on tactics, and I'm on a decent win streak here. Yeah, that was a good one. So I made a mistake there. I thought, oh, that's going to be the game when I didn't take his queen first, but that's okay. He made a mistake there. And he made another mistake here. Because he moved and then quit the game real quick. Because I was going to do a discovery check moving this bishop. I don't know that I can. Nah, I can't. I was going to move the bishop on e6 right down to g4, making a discovery check. Now he has to move, and I'm going to take the rook, and he's not going to be able to do anything about it. So, and he knew it, so he quit. So what was the next game? This one I was absolutely shocked I won. I thought for sure I'm going to lose, but luckily he didn't see the nail in the coffin. He was getting ready to shoot this bishop down here and take my pawn. Well, I can't let that happen, so I put it up there. Oh. That was dumb. That was really dumb. I couldn't back off at that point. I was already committed. I couldn't lose my queen. I wouldn't have had a chance, and you know what? So I'm like, all right, let me try to work my way around this here. And I made a couple mistakes there, but I was like, all right, what can I do here? So I tried to do that. Came down here. He took that. That was his mistake. That's when I could have had him. That was his last mistake right there. Because now I just pushed him over. And here was the nail in the coffin. He's trying to line up, come over here, and basically start mounting an attack, tearing up my king. You know, I don't know there was anything he could do to stop it, actually. He was stuck. Yeah, he could have moved his rook down here and protected the pawn on c5. I remember seeing that, and he didn't. So I checkmated him. Nowhere to run to. And this guy was so ticked off. This was a really good game. That was his mistake. Right there. Now I can just push these pawns up. I'm going to take him. I'm like, okay, I could take the queen, but why not take a pawn first? Bam, pawn, come back down. And, okay, I'll keep that pawn right there. I just moved my knight again, covering that same pawn. He was getting ready to send his rook down here and take my knight, and he would have got it too, because I wouldn't have been able to move the pawn from g2 to f3 because I'd be putting myself in check. So he's got that pawn pinned, so I had to move out of the way. So now he's trying to attack there. Now he comes back there. I go there. He finally gets that pawn. I go check. He comes down. Now he's like, you know what? I got you. I got you. Do you? Do you really have me? Are you sure about that? Check. Queen. Come down. Bam. Now I'm covering the G2 square. He's going to slide his rook over. There. I move there. He sat at this point for a good solid minute. And then quickly made this move and quit. Resigned from the game. Because he knew his days were numbered. Because I'm going to take that rook. And if he takes me back, I'm going to take his next rook. So I'm going to get 10 points for 9. And he's going to have 2 pawns left. And I've got a pawn almost promoting to a queen. Pretty sure I'd probably be able to do it before he could get there. Let's see here. He'd have to move this down. Yeah, I don't know. He'd have to move up here. 1, 2, 3. Oh, yeah, I'd get there. So he was SOL. And I still have a rook. Yeah, I was thinking I was going to lose my rook. So this guy was, super ticked. And then this one was a very good game, as you can see. I ended up plus 23. It's a shame they always start at the end, but I guess, that's how you'd want to know. So we'll go a little slow on this one, because this guy was pretty high. The highest I've ever beaten was like a 2200. There is this is a gambit, and if I take this next pawn on b2, they have checkmate. So I'm not even about to do that. I don't really know it. I don't care to know it because this is the easiest way to defend against it. Just take the extra pawn and thank them. So I'm up a pawn. And I'm always up a pawn, at least a pawn throughout this whole entire game. So I'm just going to exchange pieces at this point. I see that I'm going to be able to fork the queen and the bishop before I even do this. I figured, okay, I'm going to pin his knight to the queen, and he's going to try to push me away. I'm not going to be pushed away, because if I take him, that's the most logical move, otherwise he's exposing his king. So now I'm going to take my knight on c6 and move it to e5, and I'm going to be forking his bishop and queen. And so he's going to cover his bishop, move his queen out of danger. I'm going to take his bishop because, well, I'm not going to let him control center. And now I'm just going to start moving my pieces. I'm going to castle, and I'm going to push up my pawns. I'm going to push that queen out of here. I'm going to move my queen out of the file where the rook is bearing down on it to where he'd be able to move his knight and attack me. I can see his pawns are being promoted towards my knight, so I'm going to push up again. Now I'm thinking, well, what do I want to do here? The best scenario is I can come after his bishop, and I also have one extra move where I can come up and take that pawn, and he saw that, so he covered the pawn. So I decided, okay, I'm just going to take the bishop because the knight's in trouble anyway, and I'm forking both of his rooks. Queen takes it. Now I'm going to take his pawn. He takes back. I'm going to promote my other pawn so that I don't have to hold it there. If I can get that knight out of the way, I can pin the queen to the king. And I'm pretty sure he sees this, so he got the hell out of Dodge. So now he's pinning my pawn in front of my king, and I can't have that. So I move my queen out of the way. Now the rook comes down. I don't want that pawn to be promoted, so I move my queen up. Now he moves his rook up, and I'm like, okay, we're going to have to do an exchange here because I can't let him come down here. because what he's going to end up doing is pushing his rook, possibly. Well, no, he wouldn't do that because I got the bishop covered there. So, still, I don't want him controlling that file, so I'm like, that's it. Let me go ahead and take them all out. So he goes, I go, he goes, I go back. Now he moves there, and I want to get that pawn out of the way. But I can't move my queen, because if I do, the knight's going to fork it. He's going to put it in check, and he's going to take my bishop. So, pushed him up. He goes there. I move here. And he made a blunder right there. Big blunder. I can now slide over, put the king in check. Queen comes down. I take the knight. He can't come down and put me in check. He can't take the bishop. So the queen moves, or I'm sorry, the king moves. But I have to be aware that if that queen comes down on that bottom file, I've got my king trapped under there, and that's going to be checkmate. So I lost the game not too long ago before that. So first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to push that pawn up, and I'm going to deal with everything else later. Now he's moving over here. I'm going to move my king up. Now he's moving over here. Now I'm going to protect. So there's nothing this queen can do. He's going to push. I'm going to check. I'm going to come down here. Now, he has a problem. And he does not want anything to do with it. However, he cannot put my king in check anymore without losing his queen, because my queen is controlling the diagonal. And so I'm able to take that pawn. He's not going to take a bishop. I'm able to check, able to check, able to take. He takes me back. I move my bishop. I'm not going to have enough time to promote my pawn to a king, but that holds him there. He can't do anything. So all I'm doing is just taking his pieces. He's just trying to do everything possible to be in the right position to get a draw. And I'm aware of this, so I'm paying attention, being very careful that wherever I move, he has another move, and I'm not stalemating him. So I don't want him to take my pawn. And now I'm able to promote, and the king cannot come above row 3. So he goes back down. Now I've got another queen. Now I'm going to control exactly where he's going to go. He has 2 moves, but he chooses to take the move, which is the smartest, which is the area in which he doesn't have but 1 space to go. So, yeah, 1 space. So I go here, and we sit here for about 40 seconds. Now, I remember what the last guy did to me. The last guy moved his rook and then checked out quick. So I'm on a cell phone, which has me at a disadvantage, because if you're on the computer, you can put in multiple moves ahead. For whatever reason, they can't do it on the cell phone yet. I wish they could. So I take this queen on c1, and I hold him with my stylus on my Note 8 right on to a3. And the second I see and hear that king click, I let go. Instant checkmate. If he was trying to pull that, which I don't know that he was, but the fact that he was waiting 40 seconds and he didn't resign, that tells me he was trying to do it that way. So I made sure he didn't get away with it, and I got a checkmate. And in the end, you can see down there, it's a plus 23. Let's see if I can rotate it. Bam. Plus 23. Now you still can't really see it. Good Lord, how many moves was that? 60. Wow, that was a battle. 60 moves in 5 minutes. I think I had like a minute 20 left too. So that's actually 60 moves in like 3 minutes 40 seconds. But